Welcome back for another deep dive.
Yeah.
This time, we're going to be going through a pretty interesting conversation between two commentators.
Yeah.
They have a lot to say
Yeah, they do.
about what's going on in the world right now. And we're going through a mix of like articles and their own like commentary on the articles.
Okay.
All very current events focused.
Interesting.
So get ready for some pretty intense opinions.
Yeah.
And some, shall we say, interesting takes
Okay.
on everything from U.S. aid to the potential return of Trump on the world stage.
Got it.
Yeah, so
Sounds pretty intense.
it is pretty intense.
Okay.
Our mission is to help you cut through the noise and really try to get to the heart of what they're saying.
Yeah, I think that's important with this one because they do jump around a lot.
Yeah,
But there are some core themes
yeah.
that run through the whole thing.
Yeah, and I think what's so fascinating about this one
Yeah.
is that it really taps into a very specific set of anxieties.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just about like the events themselves,
Yeah.
but it's about this perceived
Yeah.
loss of control,
Oh, totally.
both on a national and global scale.
Yeah.
So they jump right into talking about U.S. aid spending, and they do not hold back.
No, they don't.
They are.
They're really highlighting what they see as misuse
Yeah.
of taxpayer money.
Yep.
And they're pointing to things like
Okay.
funding for diversity, equity, inclusion, or DEI training
Okay.
in Serbia, a musical about DEI in Ireland.
Whoa. Hold on.
Yeah.
A DEI musical.
Yes.
I need to hear this.
That's what I thought.
Okay, but seriously though,
Yeah.
like they're outraged about this, right?
Oh, absolutely. They are very, very upset
Oh.
about these things.
So what are they saying? Like what's...
Well, they're saying that these initiatives are frivolous
Okay.
and ultimately ineffective.
Got it.
They see it as part of a larger pattern of government waste, especially given the U.S. national debt
Okay.
and this concern about wasteful spending,
Yeah.
becomes a recurring theme throughout their commentary.
Okay, so is there issue with all foreign aid, or is there something specific
Okay.
about these examples that is like...
It seems like rubbing them the wrong way.
Yeah, it seems like their main issue is with what they perceive as ideologically driven aid.
Okay.
So they're skeptical of
Right.
projects that promote what they see as a globalist agenda,
Okay.
particularly when those projects are funded by American taxpayers
Got it.
who might not agree with those goals.
So it's not just about the money.
Exactly.
It's about like a clash of values.
Yeah, it's about values. It's about
Okay.
where is this money going?
Yeah.
Who is it benefiting? What are the goals?
Got it.
And this tension between globalist and nationalist perspectives
Okay.
becomes even more pronounced when they turn their attention to UK aid spending.
All right. What's happening across the pond?
Well, they're finding similar issues with UK aid.
Okay.
They call out things like gender equality workshops in Nigeria.
Climate justice initiatives in India and projects promoting transgender rights in South America.
Okay, are they framing this as wasteful spending as well?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
They argue that the UK can't afford these initiatives,
Yeah,
especially given their own economic challenges.
makes sense.
And there's a deeper layer of cynicism here.
Okay.
They question the true motives behind these projects,
Uh-huh.
suggesting they might be more about pushing a globalist agenda
Okay.
than genuinely helping people.
So they're seeing a pattern here,
Right.
a sense that governments are spending money on projects that don't align with their citizens' values.
Yeah, this disconnect between the people and their governments
Oh.
seems to fuel a lot of their frustration.
Okay.
But the episode's real focal point
Yeah.
emerges when they start talking about the potential return of Donald Trump.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting.
Yes.
How do they see Trump?
Well, they present him as this unpredictable force,
Okay.
capable of shaking up the global order. They even draw parallels between him and figures like Benjamin Netanyahu,
Interesting.
hinting at a history of strategic maneuvering
Okay.
and maybe even manipulation.
Huh.
They even ask us, the listeners,
Yeah.
could Trump be playing 4D chess on the world stage?
4D chess.
I know.
What does that even mean?
Well, it's about anticipating moves several steps ahead,
Okay.
factoring in hidden motives and potential consequences that others might miss.
Okay.
They're suggesting that Trump's actions might seem chaotic or impulsive,
Right.
but there could be a deeper strategy at play.
Oh, so they're not saying he I guess, playing 4D chess.
Exactly.
They're just saying it's a possibility.
Right. It's a question designed to make us think critically about his potential impact on global affairs.
So they're encouraging us to look beyond the surface.
Yes.
And consider the potential long-term implications of his actions. And they give us some specific examples.
They do.
Of where this 4D chess might be happening.
Yes.
But let's get into those examples. Where do they see Trump making his biggest moves?
Well, they start with the ongoing war in Ukraine. Well, they seem to believe that if Trump returns to power, he will prioritize finding a solution that allows the U.S. to save face.
So they're saying that, like...
Even if it means making concessions.
Okay.
That others might find unacceptable.
Interesting. So they're suggesting that he's more concerned with appearances than with, like, achieving a decisive victory.
Yeah.
That's interesting, considering his reputation for being so tough on foreign policy.
And it ties back to their point about Trump being a master manipulator.
Right.
They're implying that he might be willing to sacrifice long-term strategic goals for the sake of short-term political gain.
For the sake of appearances.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this focus on optics versus strategy becomes even more apparent when they discuss Trump's pronouncements on Gaza.
Okay, this is what I've been waiting for.
Yeah.
They said that Trump wants to take control of Gaza.
Yes.
That sounds intense.
It does, and they have a field day with this one.
Okay.
Trump apparently used some very strong language.
Really?
Evoking comparisons to colonial-era pronouncements.
Oh, wow.
Which had the commentators both baffled and amused.
I can imagine.
They seem to struggle with whether to take it seriously, but they ultimately chalk it up to Trump's penchant for outrageous statements.
So is this another example of 4D chess?
It's hard to say. They don't explicitly connect it to the 4D chess idea. But they do highlight the fact that Trump's pronouncements often generate strong reactions, both domestically and internationally.
For sure.
So it's possible they see this as a deliberate tactic to distract from other issues.
Okay.
Or to gain leverage in negotiations.
Fraction leverage, yeah. I can see how that fits into their whole narrative of Trump as like a strategic player.
Exactly. And then they shift gears to North America, where they see potential for a trade war between the U.S. and Canada.
A trade war with Canada?
Yes.
I thought we were supposed to be buddies with Canada.
Well, the commentators point to some actions by Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau that they see as hostile to American interests, particularly when it comes to trade.
Interesting.
And they claim that Trump has already responded with tariffs.
Oh, wow.
Which could escalate if he returns to office.
So they're painting a picture of like rising tensions between the U.S. and Canada.
Yeah.
That's not something you hear about every day.
No, it's not.
Okay.
And it ties into their broader theme of a world in flux. Where traditional alliances are being tested. And new conflicts are emerging. They even suggest that Elon Musk might be playing a role in all of this.
Whoa, hold on.
I know, right?
Elon Musk. What does he have to do with any of this?
Well, they draw a parallel between Trump's disruptive approach to politics and Musk's equally disruptive approach to technology and business.
I see that.
They see a common thread.
In their willingness to challenge the status quo, to shake things up and see what happens. And they suggest that Musk's influence might be extending into the political realm. Potentially influencing Trump's strategies.
Now that's a conspiracy theory I get behind. That's very thought-provoking. But wait, there's more.
There is.
Didn't they also imply that Elon Musk might have benefited from some of those U.S. aid funds that they were ranting about earlier?
They did. They claimed that Musk's company received $1.5 million.
For what?
To promote diversity and inclusion in Serbia.
Oh, wow.
It's a subtle jab.
Yeah.
But it reinforces their narrative of government waste and misplaced priorities.
So they're weaving a pretty intricate web here.
They are.
Connecting all these seemingly disparate events and figures. It's almost like they're trying to uncover some grand conspiracy.
And then, of course, they couldn't resist.
What?
Throwing in some more examples.
Of what they consider media sensationalism and government incompetence.
All right, like what?
So they went on a bit of a rant about how the media seems to report on every plane crash, train derailment, and other mishap as if it's part of some grand conspiracy. They even brought up a specific story about a Welsh police force returning a confiscated phone to a suspect with all his explicit photos still intact.
Oh, my gosh.
Ew.
That's a wild story.
It is.
I can't believe they found that one.
I know.
But what's their point?
Well, it's a bit of both, I think. They're definitely trying to entertain.
Yeah.
But they're also expressing a frustration with what they see as a decline in common sense and personal responsibility.
Okay.
They seem to be suggesting that society has become overly focused on sensationalism and outrage, losing sight of basic logic and practicality.
So it's not just about the specific stories.
Right.
It's about a larger cultural shift.
Exactly.
That they find concerning.
Yes.
Okay.
And in the midst of all this chaos and perceived decline, they find a glimmer of hope in one particular figure.
Okay, who?
Tulsi Gabbard.
Oh, yeah, they mentioned her.
Yeah.
As Trump's potential pick for Director of National Intelligence, right?
It's right.
Okay. They seem to genuinely admire Gabbard.
Yeah.
Praising her military background, her combat experience, and willingness to speak truth to power.
Got it.
They even contrast her with figures like former Obama advisor Rahman Shai, who they see as representing everything that's wrong with the political establishment.
It's a pretty stark contrast.
It is.
They're clearly trying to paint Gabbard as like a beacon of integrity and competence in a world that they see as increasingly corrupt and dysfunctional.
Exactly.
Okay.
And this brings us back to the central question.
Okay.
Is Trump truly capable of upending the global order?
I mean, they definitely seem to think so.
Yeah.
Pointing to his potential impact on everything from the Ukraine war. Right.
To U.S.-Canadian relations. And they even bring up the potential role of figures like Elon Musk and shaping his agenda.
Right.
But they also can't resist throwing in a few more examples of what they consider government waste.
Yeah.
Both in the U.S. and the U.K.
They do.
Okay, like what?
So they mentioned the UK government's alleged misspending on a secret cabinet retreat. And a payout to a Pakistani asylum seeker who overstayed her visa.
Got it.
And they even bring up the rising cost of milk and butter in the UK.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
They're bringing up milk and butter.
They are.
What do they have to say about that?
Well, they see it as a positive sign.
Okay.
That people are rejecting low-fat options and embracing traditional foods.
I guess that ties into their whole skepticism of prevailing dietary advice.
Right.
Which they touched on earlier when they were talking about the potential harms of frequent cannabis use.
Exactly.
So they're advocating for like a return to traditional values.
It seems right.
And practice, both in terms of diet and lifestyle. Yeah. Interesting. But then just when you think they're done with the global stage, they drop a bombshell.
They do.
A story about Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu gifting Trump a golden pager.
Yes.
With a rather disturbing inscription.
A very disturbing inscription.
Okay, I remember this one.
Yeah.
The pager's date and time coincided with some tragic event involving the deaths of children.
Yeah, and they speculate.
Oh, yeah.
About Netanyahu's potential involvement. All sorts of conspiracies.
It meant to be dark stuff.
It was very dark. And it speaks to their broader belief that there are powerful forces at work behind the scenes, shaping events in ways that most people are unaware of.
So they're not just ranting about government waste and political incompetence. They're suggesting that there are like hidden agendas and sinister motives at play.
Exactly. And they believe that it's up to us, the citizens, to be aware of these forces and to resist their influence.
Okay.
But despite all the doom and gloom, they also know how to inject a little humor.
They do love to make jokes.
Yeah.
Even when discussing like really serious topics.
Right. Remember the story about the man who tried to rob a bank after paying a wizard to make him invisible?
Oh my gosh, yes. And the mother who suffered a heart attack while ordering a Subway sandwich.
Yeah.
Only to be saved by fellow customers.
Those stories were hilarious.
It's like they're saying, look, the world's a crazy place.
Right.
But let's not forget to laugh at the absurdity of it all.
Exactly.
Yeah, and they even poke fun at Jeremy Corbyn's call for kill switches on cars to protect cyclists.
I know they highlight the impracticality and potential dangers of that proposal,
of course.
Demonstrating their skepticism of what they see as ideologically driven policies.
Right.
And then, as if to remind us that technology is both a blessing and a curse, they delve into the world of artificial intelligence.
They express some concern about over-reliance on AI for decision-making, right?
Right.
Didn't they even draw parallels to, like, dystopian sci-fi scenarios?
They did. They're worried about the potential for AI to be used for surveillance, manipulation, and even control.
Okay.
But they also acknowledge the potential benefits of AI, especially in areas like healthcare and scientific research.
So it's not a black and white issue for them.
Exactly. Okay. They see both the potential and the peril of this rapidly advancing technology.
Got it.
And they urge us to be cautious, to think critically about the implications of AI, and to ensure that humans remain in control.
Yeah.
It's a message that resonates with me.
Me too. We've covered a lot of ground here, haven't we?
We have.
From alleged government waste and the return of Trump to the potential for trade wars and the rise of AI.
Right.
But there's still more to unpack.
There is.
What else do these commentators have to say about the state of the world?
Well, they kind of shift gears and start talking about the UK political scene. And they do not hold back in their criticism of the Labour Party and its leader, Keir Starmer.
What are they saying about him?
Oh, they're pretty brutal. They call him slimy.
Okay.
And accuse him of hypocrisy and questionable spending habits.
Okay, so they're not fans.
No, not at all. They see him as a symbol of everything that's wrong with the political establishment.
Right.
And they even bring up the case of Richard Medhurst.
Richard Medhurst, remind me.
He's a journalist who was recently detained in Austria.
Right, okay.
And they use this story to illustrate what they see as a crackdown on free speech and dissent.
Okay.
Particularly targeting those who challenge the prevailing narrative on sensitive issues, like the Israeli-Palestinian conflict.
So they're tying this back to their broader concern.
Exactly.
About the erosion of individual freedoms and the rise of authoritarianism, even in supposedly democratic societies.
Yeah, like they're saying this is happening everywhere.
Wow.
And then just when you think they're done with their critique of the UK political landscape, they throw in this wild speculation about Russia invading the UK as a rescue mission.
What? This sounds ridiculous.
Oh, it is. They're being totally sarcastic.
Oh, okay.
They even suggest that a Russian administrator like Dmitry Medvedev might be just what the UK needs to get back on track.
They are not serious, are they?
No. It's all tongue-in-cheek.
Okay.
But it highlights their deep dissatisfaction with the current state of UK politics.
So they're saying things are so bad that even a Russian takeover might be an improvement.
Basically.
I know.
And then they move on to talking about Scottish independence.
Okay.
And they lament the fact that Scotland consistently ranks high in alcohol consumption within the UK.
Okay.
They joke that it's a form of ritual humiliation.
Oh my gosh.
Inflicted by the English.
Wow. Are they being serious?
I think it's a mix of serious and sarcastic.
Like they're definitely making a joke, but they're also expressing frustration with what they see as negative media portrayals of Scotland.
Right.
That perpetuates stereotypes.
Got it.
And they think those are unfair and inaccurate.
So they're saying it's more than just about drinking.
Right.
It's about how Scotland is perceived and treated.
Exactly. And this leads them to a broader critique of traditional political systems.
Okay.
They seem to be skeptical of the effectiveness of representative democracy.
Really?
Yeah, as it currently exists.
Interesting.
Suggesting that it's become too bureaucratic. Too disconnected from the needs of everyday people.
So what are they proposing?
Well, they float the idea of a more direct form of democracy.
Okay.
Where citizens can vote electronically on key issues.
Interesting.
Bypassing the traditional political parties and institutions.
That's a pretty radical idea.
It is.
Yeah.
But it speaks to their desire for greater transparency.
Yeah.
Accountability and citizen participation in government. I can see that. It's clear that these commentators are not afraid to challenge the status quo.
Not at all.
To question everything. And to propose bold solutions.
Right. Even if they're sometimes impractical.
Yeah. And they do it all with a sense of humor.
Oh, yeah, definitely. They don't take themselves too seriously.
Which is refreshing.
It is. It makes them more relatable.
Yeah, I agree. It's been quite a ride exploring the minds of these two commentators.
It has.
From the potential return of Trump and the looming threat of AI to the intricacies of UK politics and the ever-present specter of global conflict.
Yeah, they covered a lot of ground.
They did. But one thing that really struck me was their admiration for individuals who challenged the system.
Yeah, like who?
People like Tulsi Gabbard and Richard Tether.
Right.
They seem to be searching for those who embody integrity, courage, and a commitment to serving the public good.
I think you're right.
And it makes me wonder, who are the figures you admire in today's world? What qualities do you look for in a leader? That's something to think about as we wrap up this deep dive. Thanks for joining us.